Alright, welcome back to Pressure with your host Alicia Jazzy Hawkins, and today I'm preparing for you Thanksgiving traditional turkey. So we have my personal Jazzy rub. I call it a Jazzy rub. I got all my favorite seasonings all mixed into one. I have a trifecta of peppers and onions I chopped up for the look, the melody, and the flavor. These are the goodies that came out of my turkey: the turkey neck, the gizzards, the liver, and these are what we're going to use to baste. If you don't have this, you can definitely use a basting spoon. So we're going to get right into it. First, I'm going to go wash my hands. I already pre-washed the turkey, cleaned my pan, and etc. So we're going to get right into it. Let me wash my hands. But yeah, Thanksgiving is one of my favorite times of the year. I mean, you can smell the food, the aroma from down the street. As a little girl, I just used to sit at the end of the staircase and wait on something to fall like a little puppy. Waiting on somebody to say, hey, you want to try this? Come see how this tastes for me. That was my job. So we're going to get right into it. Since you have to be hands-on with this turkey, I prefer that any type of meat handling, use gloves. And a trick for me that I try to use all the time with the cleaning process of my meat, I use apple cider vinegar. If you have the time and the patience, you know, try to soak it at least for a couple of hours. An hour or two will do fine. Any type of meat, and your fruits and vegetables just for maybe about 10 to 15 minutes. That's to get the pesticides and things like that out the fruit and the vegetables and the poultry. So okay. I took the liberty of cleaning my turkey. I try to get as much as the excess skin and stuff like that I don't need on there. Any type of fat that you may find. A little fat is fine, but you try to get as much of the fat off of there as possible. And you clean it up and down. Let's give you a good look at it. And we're going to go straight into the rub. I like to have mine with my wings facing up, so that once I season, I can just tuck them down and they'll just be in there like that. So we're going to start off with our rub. We're just going to get all personal with this thing here. We're going to get real. We're going to rub it in. I like to do my rub first so it can kind of be settling in before I inject my turkey. Especially if you don't season at night. I'm a season overnight type of girl. I like to put my stuff in the refrigerator overnight, season it real well, and then I give it a quick turn. Season it real well, and then I just put it in the refrigerator, just so that seasoning can soak in there. A lot of people don't like leftovers, but y'all just don't know that seasoning hit different the next day once it's been soaked down in there. So yeah, we flipped, and we're going to continue to proceed to rub the seasonings in. Y'all get fresh with that turkey, meaning y'all get it all up in there, all the creases. Get as much as you can. You see how I'm taking the liberty of rubbing it all in between all those little spots? That's going to ensure that seasoning is all the way around. And you're going to go ahead and sprinkle it and rub towards this part. And the rest of your seasoning, of course, you're going to season the middle. And I like to cut my skin back a little bit. I already pre-cut it. And I just sprinkle a little and throw it in there. Because although we're going to inject it, I just like to pre-season everything. Alright, so as you can see, we got our turkey well seasoned. And we're just going to put it in a good position. So now when we inject, we're injecting the main meat parts. So here, 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 here. Anywhere you can find a thick piece of meat, that's where you're going to put your injector. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change out my gloves. I'm going to go and grab this injector real quick. And I'm also going to grab my secret weapon. My secret weapon is cream of mushroom. This is my ultimate favorite when baking anything. Like I literally, like the Red House commercial, she put that on anything. I put that on anything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our injector prepared. Just gonna open, and I like Tony Chachere's. I like this brand. If you can't find Tony Chachere's, another brand I recommend is Savoy's. It's a pretty good brand. So just go for what you know. Go for what you know. And for those who don't like using injectors, you can always make your own stock. If you don't know how to make your own stock, just check out below. I'll leave you some details on how to make you some homemade stock. All right, we're just gonna open this up. And once we get this open, we're gonna just inject this baby. Let me get some help here. All right. So I recommend that you give it a quick shake, just to get whatever's at the bottom to the top. Shake it up real good. And you set your injector. I'm gonna put my gloves back on because I'm a glove girl, especially when dealing with meat. I'm just funny about it. But we're gonna get this set up. Ready to roll. So I switched out my gloves and I am ready to inject. But before I inject, I want to make note that I did go ahead and take the liberty of preheating my oven to 350. And typically when you bake a turkey, it's like 25 minutes per pound. 25 minutes per pound. So yeah. We're going to get this baby injected real good. And with these bottles, sometimes you have to just pour it in a bowl or something like that, just to get to the full amount of your liquid. Now, see, as you just seen, it just came squirted out. You want to make sure that you're getting good positions where the flavor is going to be locked in. You don't want to where it shoots out, because I keep the liver and the gizzards for the basting at the bottom. I'm going to season those as well, so when I come back and baste it throughout, you know, the baking process, the flavor will be coming from the liver and the gizzards. So moving forward, like I said, make sure you find you a good injecting point. And you want to get it real good because you want the flavor to be locked in. Nobody likes a dry turkey. You want to make sure you catch that wing. See how you get it in there? And you're going to see it swell up. That's how you know when you're doing what you're supposed to. It's going to swell up for you. Alright. And we're just going around making sure that we get each part injected real good, top to bottom, because we want that good flavor all over the turkey. We want it moist all the way around. I'm just catching the other wing here. And I want to give some more attention to this breast, because this is like the most driest part of the turkey for me. I feel like the breast is like the driest part of the turkey. I'm really not a white meat person at all. Like, I don't like breast. Chicken breast, turkey breast, I just don't care for it because it's so dry. But if you follow my steps, you don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to flip it over just to see, make sure I feel around and see where all my meat is, and I try to go in the other spots. As you can see, you can see where it's swelling up at. Like I said, double up on the breast. You'll just take the rest We know we got each part injected. We just going back and we doubling up in different spots. Try it. Please, whatever you do not go back into the same spot because it's going to just squirt back out. It's just going to be a waste of time. So you find you a different entry point and lock in that flavor. That's going to be good. And we're going to continue this process until the turkey is fully injected. And make sure you get some in the middle too. I go from the inside and the outside. That's what a lot of people, they neglect the inside of their turkey. Everybody focus on the outside, the outskirts. You have to inside and out that thing. Brush it. So now I'm focusing on my inside. I pull that skin back like such. I'm gonna turn it around for y'all. I pull that skin back like that so I can see real good, and then I just take it and I shoot that baby up like that. You see how it's locked in, ain't nothing coming out. And if there's anything left, if you feel like you've injected your turkey all the way through, I'll catch this side right here, and then I'm gonna just pour the rest of my mixture on the inside of my turkey. Just like I said, we want flavor locked in the inside and out. Catch all my little corners and meat points. I'll set this to the side. So, as I stated, this is our secret weapon, some creamy mushroom. So what we're going to do is we're going to just start at the top. We're going to pull it out like that. And we have our lip brush. Wherever it falls, fine. We have our lip brush. And we're going to take and brush this all around. Now, you do have on your gloves. For those of you who do not have a brush, you can get real intimate with your chicken and rub it down. But basically, you just lathering it up, coating it with the cream of mushroom. For me, it's like the cream of mushroom is like a tenderizer. It's like it just does something different for the flavor. It's everything. But of course, those who try my turkey know that. But that's really my secret weapon. I just get all in with it. Come around the back with it. Get as much around as you can. Even if you just put it around in your pan, because you're going to lay it down, and you're going to position your bird to your liking. After I get it all mixed in real good, after it's mixed in real good, I just go ahead on and add my peppers, my onion and bell pepper. Add that to the mix. Set this here so I can get a better grip on it. And really, you could just take a handful and decorate your bird. I like to get a lot of onions on the inside. I put both, but for the most part, I put a lot of onions on the inside. And you're just garnishing your bird. You put it up and down and over. You go in the creases like you did with your seasoning. Dry seasoning and vegetables. You pretty much do the same thing. You want to get it all up in there as much as you can. Now the trick with the turkey is just getting it airtight. You got to get some heavy duty aluminum foil. It doesn't have to be Reynolds, but as long as it's heavy duty, that's really the trick. Because once it's airtight, you locking it in, the juices, the flavor, everything is gonna be something. I'm telling you. Know what it's gonna be? Fresh. That's what it's gonna be. So okay. Now we got that looking good. I'm gonna opt out of this But usually, like I said, I will put my livers and stuff like that. You season it. If you don't want to season it, you could just flip it around and you season at the bottom, and it'll bring more juice and flavor too. So as you basting it, you got that in. I'm just add one more to the other side. My little gizzards. Yes, and they are pre-washed. Wash everything. Remember, wash everything, season everything. You don't do nothing else. Wash everything, season everything. That is the trick in your kitchen. And you just make sure everything is in place properly. Like I said, you got your wings tucked down. And just placement, it just ensures that everything is being cooked properly. You know, it's not slapped together, so just make sure I got them tucked in tight. Now, if you're going to stuff your turkey, you don't necessarily have to put that many vegetables on the inside because you're leaving room for your stuffing. So, but we're not doing that. We're going to keep it cute. So, like I said, I'm going to get out of these little, like I said, this is going in the oven. And it's 25 minutes per pound. And you just set your timer and you just go on to your next dish. We're gonna go ahead on and pop this in the oven, and we're gonna pop it in after we get our aluminum foil going. So we're gonna get our counter together, our heavy duty foil, and like I said, you want to get it airtight. So when you lacing your foil, make sure you do your measurements because you don't want it to be too short. You want it to go all the way across your bird. You cannot be dicey with your foil. Airtight, lock it in, get your corners looking like this. Airtight, it should be real tight. And again, we're gonna measure all the way across, leaving extra room. If we want it locked in. And like I said, every so many minutes, I say like every 25, 15, 20 minutes, go back and baste it. Take it, go to the bottom, pick up your juice, and you drizzle it all the way around. Drizzle it all the way around, and then you cover. Make sure you cover it back tightly. That is the trick, because the air come in and it'll dry it out. If you don't want to dry turkey, heavy aluminum foil. The best option. So like I said, we're gonna go ahead on and go to the oven with this, and we're gonna come back to you with our rice dressing and our green beans. Fresh. All right, and we're back. And we are back with some good hot fresh turkey fresh out of the oven. Don't leave your girl around me. True player for real. That's what they feel. We're gonna go ahead on and close our oven up. Oh my God. Are y'all ready for this pressure? If you don't know about the bird is the word, and it's pressure. I'm gonna let y'all get into this. See how we got our wings tucked down? Everything is fell in place. Our vegetable melody is all roasted on the top. That's what I'm talking about. Now that's Thanksgiving. This is traditional Thanksgiving. Whew. It's a scent for me. So what you would do is go back. You could tell it's already moist because we properly seasoned. But you're going to go back and just drizzle you some of your little broth on top. Get it cool a little bit, and baby, you can go ahead on and serve. Don't that look like something? That's different too. But that is pressure. Ooh, Lord, I gotta get to the next segment. Keep going, Jazzy. You could do this. Don't worry about the bird. Damn, I don't want to cut this. Yeah, we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going. So next, we're gonna have our rice dressing. We are doing, no, excuse me, and that's what I wanted to say. I'm glad I caught myself. There is a difference between rice dressing and dirty rice. Today, we're doing dirty rice because rice dressing is simply ground meat. Okay? Rice dressing, dirty rice is the liver and the gizzards. Okay? So we're not gonna prolong it any longer. Let's get it popping. All right, right back at you with some more pressure. Now we on our side segment of Thanksgiving, and I have here some cut washed green beans. Remember, season everything, wash everything. Okay. I have some cut and pre-washed potatoes. I'm sorry, you guys. Onions, red bell pepper, and I have my buttercup. Here, I have parboiled rice. I do not like white rice. If I use anything, it's gonna be jasmine rice, parboiled rice, or brown rice. For this recipe, I decided to go ahead on and use the parboiled rice. This is 3 cups of parboiled rice. I took the liberty of starting my water. And when you start your water to boil, I'm a broth girl, so being that I'm not using a broth for this, I'm actually just gonna season my water. I have my thyme, onion, bell pepper, garlic powder, paprika, and Cajun seasoning, and a bunch of other little jazzy spices, you know. So I have that going on a boil already, and it's nice and hot. I can go ahead on and add my rice. Do not add your rice until you have a boil going. You don't want to mess your rice up. So you just sprinkle it on in there. Sprinkle it on in there. Another thing, what you don't want to do, a lot of people like to put a little butter in their rice. With parboiled rice, you don't really necessarily have to do that. And then when people making their dirty rice, they like to cook their rice first, and then like when it's halfway through, they take it out and put it in a strainer and just let it sit off to the side until they cut their liver and gizzards up and cook that down. But being that we already pre-stepped that, and we're not using the other kind of rice, parboiled rice is already half cooked anyway, like, so you don't have that to worry about. So we're gonna let that boil. We're gonna give it a quick stir. Give it a quick stir real quick, just to make sure they are loose. And like I said, Big Mama raised me, so how we measure our rice and water, what you do is, if you fix your water before you put it on to boil, all you would do is make sure that your index finger, the water is over the finger. That's Big Mama trick right there. So for those of you who don't have measuring cups and don't use the proper measurements, that's how you would determine if you have enough rice for your water. But I'm a strainer also. They got a lot of people that measure their rice in their water to the T, where it'll cook and steam out. With me, I like to strain my rice because I'm going to rinse it and get all the starch and stuff off the top of it. But you're going to rinse the rice before and after you cook it. And what? Wash and season. Always wash and season. So, okay, we're going to go ahead on and let that cook down. And while that's cooking down, we're going to go ahead on and get this going. So, over here in this skillet, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on a medium high. We're going to turn it on a medium high. I'm going to add a little onion and bell pepper first. With this, this butter is for the green beans only. We do not add butter into our rice dressing. That's not what we're doing here. So we're going to use our vegetable melody, and we're going to let this caramelize inside of the butter. Just a little. You're going to put a teaspoon in there. I don't put a lot of butter. I'm not a big butter person because like it holds a lot of salt, and it's just not necessary. A lot of stuff make its own juice. So we're going to go ahead on and transfer this over here. Let me get me a little butter out. I'm going to use maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons of that butter. And we're gonna let that start to sizzle. Once you hear a sizzle, you know it's pressure. So we just preparing. Getting our veggies ready. We're gonna move that around a little bit in our skillet. Moving that around a little bit because you want to have your pan nicely coated with your butter. So while that's melting down, we're gonna let that melt down a little bit, then we're gonna add our seasonings. But here we have tasso meat. Our tasso meat goes with our green beans, but this is just a whole nother level, y'all. Y'all not even ready for that. I don't even want to confuse y'all. I'm gonna stick to the rice dressing first. So I'm gonna just move that over a little bit. So this mixture is our liver and our gizzards and stuff like that. We just already took the liberty of grinding it up and putting it in a container and just getting it prepared for today. Because it is a process. Liver and gizzards, the gizzards, I want to say they take about at least 2 hours. At least 2 hours. You want them to be really, really tender. And you're going to get a food processor and you're going to grate it down until it's nice and fine. And then you're going to go ahead on and add your livers, grate it down till it's nice and fine. And then you cook that down with your onion and your bell pepper melody. And then that's when you'll go ahead on and add it to your rice. But I'm going to show y'all. Let me show y'all. I feel like our butter is nice and hot. We're going to go ahead and add that. No certain order you have to add the stuff in. You just go ahead on and put it in. And we'll go from there. Let that sizzle up. We're going to give it a quick swirl around. Give it a quick swirl so it can all be lathered up in that butter. You're going to let that cook down. Again, stir your rice. I'm going to go ahead on and put a top over this and turn it down some. Because we don't want this going too fast. So we're going to put our top over this. And we're going to put our top over this. Let it steam out. And I have this dish prepared because what I'm going to do is, once my rice is ready and my mixture is ready, I'm going to just transfer it over to this dish. And you can bake it if you would like. Definitely, if you're going to add cream of mushroom to it, I'm not going to do that today. Cream of mushroom is just like the glue that holds everything together. But I'm not going to do that today because I got a good consistency with this mixture right here. What you're going to do is you're going to mix it up in the pot. Your rice is going to be already ready. So you're going to cook that until that's already ready. So you'll probably only be going into the oven for maybe about 5 or 10 minutes, if that. And when you put it in the oven, tight wrap. So let's move forward and check on our onion and bell pepper melody. And if you don't hear no sizzling going on, you don't have nothing going on in your kitchen. Ain't no pressure in there. It's all in the sizzle. And what you don't want is you to let anything stick to the bottom of the pan. I like my stuff caramelized. I don't like it to have that rustic brown burnt look. So just caramelize it. Let's try to get a good look at this. We're gonna keep on going until it's well cooked down. I'm gonna let it cook down just a little bit more before I add in our liver and gizzard mixture. And again, we are making dirty rice. Rice dressing is ground beef. Dirty rice, it gets dirty. We got our liver and gizzards. Okay, so moving on, we're waiting on that to sizzle a little more. Moving forward, we have our clean green beans. Again, we are going to season them. We're going to season them. Let's get us another pot together. I'm going to rinse our pot out. And I'm going to show you how to start your green beans. All right, we have a clean and rinse pot. We're gonna go ahead and dry this baby off and move forward. Again, you want to get a nice medium temperature. Oh, it smells good in here. And we're going to use, being that we drained all of our water off of our green beans, we're going to use all of this butter. So this is about 6 tablespoons of butter. 6 tablespoons of butter and 2 cans of green beans. But you can add more green beans. With these 6 tablespoons, it really should be 3 cans. But we're going to go for what we know. Alright, we have our butter in. Once that butter melts down, we're gonna what? Season. So again, we seasoning everything. We're gonna season everything. We're gonna let that butter melt down, and we're gonna actually season our tasso meat lightly because it's already smoked, and it's gonna bring a rich flavor to the green beans. You don't even really have to add any more seasoning after that. You're gonna season this one time, okay? You're not going to overdo it because it'll overpower it. And especially when you buy smoked meat. I had an issue with some smoked meat before. They season the meat before they smoke it. A lot of times they're not just smoking it as they should. They season it first. So you don't want to add season on top of season on top of season. It's not good look. So we're going to go ahead on and check on this. This is looking great. And it is now time. As you can see, they are much softer. We're going to go ahead on and add our liver and gizzard mixture. We're going to go ahead and add that to this and let that saute down. And I kind of like put mine in portions so that I can mix in the onion and bell pepper real good. I don't want to just slop it down there and then you're trying to fight to find all your peppers at the bottom. So if you take it, just like if you're baking a cake, you put your eggs in one egg at a time. So, half and half, and we're going to just let that cook down. I'm going to let that cook down. I'm going to turn my rice down a little bit. So we got a nice boil going with the rice. Okay, and I say that'll cook for about 10 minutes on both ends, and make sure you cover. Make sure you cover, let those juices soak in and set in. And we're going to move forward with our tasso meat. So we put our tasso meat in with our butter. Just go ahead and slide that right in there. Now, as you can see, I put it on one side of the pot because I want to put my potatoes on the other side. I'm going to let them cook on their own side first, and then I'm going to mix them together. This is something that I do. It's not like a certain thing you have to do. It's just something that I like to do. So I have my potatoes here. We want to just add that on the other side of that butter and let that cook down. Again, we're going to season this pressure. We have a little Tony seasoning. Only going to put a pinch of that. Only going to put a pinch of that. And some like to add onion powder, garlic powder, and things like that. We're not doing any of that today. We're going to keep it real simple because you really don't need all that. The tasso meat is going to have all the flavor that you need. You just need a pinch of spice. And that Tony sachet has sodium in it, so that's my spice and my salt all rolled into one. And the rest of the flavor is going to come from the tasso meat. So I got my salt for my potatoes, I got my butter, and I have my tasso meat that's going to bring all the flavor in there. So once we let that cook down for a few minutes, we're going to mix it in. All right, we're back. And our rice, as you can see, our rice is done. It's all steamy and fluffy like. Now, with this mixture, I'm going to turn my back burner down a little bit. With this mixture, of our liver and gizzards. You don't have to cook that long at all because like I said, we've already cooked that down. We've already cooked that down and blended it to get this texture that we have here in order to go on the rice. So it's already pre-cooked. You were really just cooking your vegetables in and getting that flavor together. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pour this over and all that juice and broth and everything that comes with it from your gizzard and liver blend. You want that to get right on in there. That's gonna be your broth. You don't need anything else for this. You don't need anything else for this. You're gonna mix this in really good. I like to have more meat than rice. It get down and dirty, you know. It ain't dirty rice if the rice ain't dirty. So I'm gonna let that cook in with that rice for like a second on the stove, just to make sure everything is mixed all the way in. And like I said, at this time, if you were using cream of mushroom soup, this would be the time to add it in, and you let that cook down until it's like all the way a liquid. Alright. Just so you can see, I still have my potatoes and tasso meat going. Now I'm just going to do a quick flip. I'm going to mix everything in so they can get familiar with one another. Okay. Alright, we're going to take our dressing. Like I said, it's all mixed up and good together. I have my baking pan here. Now, I would suggest that you pre-grease your pan, but my pan is a non-stick, just in case. Still grease your pan, but I've dealt with this pan before and I don't have sticking problems. Like this is like the best casserole dish ever. Shout out to Sam. Alright, let me get my little mitten here. I will do fine as well. And we just gonna pour that in this bowl here. And once you pour it in, you can pretty much see what's not mixed in properly. And you just give it another little whirl to get it all in there. And you cover that again with your heavy duty foil. Put that in the oven for 10 minutes. You let it bake 10 minutes on 350. And you got yourself something. So yeah, let's do just that. We're gonna go ahead on and get our heavy duty foil. Remember, again, always go over your pan so you can have excess foil to tuck. And we just gonna sit this off to the side for right now. With the foil on top, it is still cooking because it is so hot in the pan to this pan. So it is still cooking, and we're gonna leave it there for a moment while we let our, we don't wanna disrupt our turkey because opening and closing the oven and you're gonna mess up your temperature. So we're gonna let that sit there. And we're gonna come back over here to our tasso meat and potatoes. Oh, and they're coming along just nicely. Our potatoes are actually softening very well. You want to make sure you keep them stirring real good. You don't want them to stick to the bottom of the pot. But at this point, you can add your green beans. And you're going to let everything cook down together. And when you know everything is done, green beans only take about 5 or 6 minutes to really cook. How do you know everything is done? Because your potatoes are going to be fork tender. And that tasso meat is already going to be tender. But the potatoes will be fork tender. So you're going to wait on that. We're going to move on over here. We're just going to add our green beans in there. Nice and smooth. I mean, that's looking good already. And you would just cover it and let it cook. I suggest like a medium low, not a medium high. You really just let this roll because you want to cover this and let your steam cook your potatoes down. So that was quick and simple. So like I said, we just pretty much waiting on our turkey to come out so we can make room for our rice dressing. Dirty rice, caught myself. All right, and we'll be right back. All right, and now we're ready for our dessert part of our Thanksgiving segment. So I had to make it real short and sweet and easy for y'all. Easy as pie, like some say. And I know everybody's not oven fluent, baker fluent, everybody's not no super baker. So I got something real easy that anybody can, like this a 20-minute setup, 20-minute bake, 22 minutes at the most. So what I have here is a lot of people like to use the graham cracker crust. I like the regular baked pastry crust. So I took the liberty of pre-baking this for you guys. I baked that about 10-15 minutes. And just really till I got this golden brown texture, because it is going to be baked again. So it's going to be fully baked once it goes in the second time. So what I have here is Eagle brand. I'm very particular about the brand of condensed milk that I use. I have the Eagle brand condensed milk, 2 cans. I have 4 large eggs, yolks. Let's be clear, 4 large egg yolks. I went and took the liberty of whisking them up together. And here I have 12 tablespoons of lemon juice. And I also took the liberty of zesting my lemons. That is very important for that lemon flavor, and it's also going to give that color that we're looking for. A lot of people like to use food coloring and extracts and stuff like that. Everything we need is already here. So like I said, I have my lemon zest here, my 12 tablespoons, not teaspoons, tablespoons of lemon juice. And I have my egg yolk. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix. Usually I mix those 2 together and then just blend it, but it really doesn't matter. I go egg first. Your egg just really locks it in. Your egg is going to keep everything together, actually. And my lemon juice. As you can see, my zest coming down in there. Is that flavor and the coloring. I'll try to get a little bit more of my egg wash out of here. And all you do is you whisk that together. Don't go fast at first. You just whisk it in slow. And then as it picks up consistency, you just pick up your pace. And I like to hold my bowl near me. Keep it near and dead in my heart. Yeah. Crush. So like I said, you're going to mix this in really well. You want to make sure that's all the way through. I want y'all to really see what it's hitting for. And like I said, it's that simple. Like, you have 3 key components. Some people like to add a little pinch of salt. Only a pinch is all you'll need. So like I said, we want to get that to where it's all like flowing together. We know it's all mixed in together. And please, whatever you do for this recipe, like I said, it's only 3 steps. So take the time out to get fresh lemons. Rinse your lemons off really well, zest them, and then juice them. Do not, I repeat, do not get those little lemon things. It's not worth it. It's gonna mess up the complete flavor. And this is a deep dish pie pan, so every last drop of this is gonna go in here. If you have any more, you can refrigerate it, and I think it lasts up to about 6 to 7 days, but it won't last that long. Nobody's gonna let this filling just sit around. And what I like to do is, for my guests that like to pop in, you know, you got your family that come in just to eat right quick and leave. So like what I do for them, I would buy the graham cracker crust, or I get the little small pastry crust, and just do me some little small homemade ones. But you're gonna fill this pie all the way up to the top. And I'm gonna get my spatula because I don't like to throw nothing away. I'm scrape our sides. All right. So let's go ahead on and get it all out of here. We need all this pressure in this pie. And you just make it as neat as you possibly can. There you have it. You bake this for 20 minutes. 20 minutes on the oven at 350. Do not overbake. The longest this pie should be in the oven is 22 minutes at the most. If you go 23 minutes, it's ruined. That's the real trick to it. That's why you bake the pie crust first, so it's already pre-baked. And another step that I did forget, to make sure that it's cooking properly, what I like to do with my pies, I'll take a fork and I poke through the bottom of my pie crust, and that'll ensure that it's all cooking at the same temperature. So that's a little trick I learned back in the days. But this is it. All you have to do is pop it on in your oven. And I like to use the lower rack so we can go ahead on and share our oven space with our rice. And our rice will be coming out in probably the next 5 minutes, if that. Because like I said, the rice was already done. So you will set your timers for 20 minutes, 22 at the longest, just to give it a little extra time to make sure that it's fully cooked, and then you're good. But the thing with pies is you cannot cut them the same day. Boom, 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 boom. You have to literally wait a whole nother day, and that's the part I can't deal with it, because I'm Jazzy sweets, man. I'm trying to get to the sweets. You know what I'm saying? Pressure. So we're gonna wait our 20 minutes. We actually gonna wait 5. What I don't like to do is open that oven up while I got something else in there, but I don't want to leave my rice resting in there too long. My dirty rice, sorry. I don't leave my dirty rice in there too long, so we're gonna go ahead on and get our kitchen cleaned up, and by the time we wrap this up, that rice coming out. So let's get it wrapped up. All right, man, if this is not Thanksgiving pressure, I don't know what is. Man, look how that rice is. Look at those green beans. You can see all the colors and the texture, everything. Look how you cut that potato with a fork. That's how you know when it's ready. Pressure. I told you don't need no seasonings. That tasso meat gonna bring it all together for you. Let me get a little taste of this rice. Perfection on the plate. It's perfect. The turkey is tender and juicy all the way through. You're not gonna cut no parts of that turkey, and it's gonna be dry. Real life pressure. So let's get into this lemon pie. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. As y'all know, like I said, we had to wait 24 hours before we can cut the pie. So this is how you want your pie to look. And when you bring your pie out of the oven, you're gonna tap it a few times. If it's jiggly a little bit, it's done. As long as it's not loose, but if it's jiggly and you tap it a little bit, it's good to go. You can just wrap it in saran wrap. The top of my pie looks this way because I put it foil on it. You have to use saran wrap if you want to keep it looking nice. All right, let's get into this plate. Like I said, the rice was done. And the quick little 10 minutes in the oven is done. As you can see, I want y'all to get into this. All the textures, you can see the seasoning, everything is well seasoned. You can see it. Look at those green beans. Potato or pork tender, like I suggested. That's how you know when it's ready to rock and roll. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that. Man, stop playing this pressure. Yo, what the? Thanksgiving pressure. What is you saying? Oh my God. Man, it's just so balanced. All the flavors. Excuse me, man. All the flavors just balance out so well together. The texture is everything, like pressure. Now, we already got our dinner ready. Now it's time for dessert. So, we have our homemade 3-step lemon pie. Now, if you would like to add the meringue on it, I did not add the meringue. The egg white is what you keep your meringue for. You keep your egg whites to the side. You add a little sugar, and on a high blend, you're gonna whip it up, and it only takes maybe 60 to 90 seconds. So we're gonna get into this pie. First of all, let's get into the texture. By us not cutting it the day of, everything is in place. Nothing is falling apart. And you can see the consistency is the same all the way through. Just gonna give it a quick. Like I said, you can do this with your graham cracker crust. Look at that. You can use your graham cracker crust or your regular pie pastry pan like I use. It just gives it that old school down home flavor for me. So let's just try this out and see how it tastes. Man, it's too much pressure. I almost ran up out of here. Oh my God. Tastes so good. Make you want to slap your mouth. Woo! I gotta get another piece of that. So like I said, man, it's a 3-step pie. It's like the most simplest thing you can create, and it's fast. It's 20 minutes setup, 20 minute bake, 22 at the longest. You can't go wrong. Only way you go wrong with this pie is if your eggs are not at room temperature, and if you do not overbake it. Do not, whatever you do, just do not overbake this pie. 22 minutes, finito. You know? So, like I said, shout out to the Antidote for letting me come on here and cook this pressure for y'all, because I had to share this shit with somebody. I mean, I can't just keep all this pressure to myself, man. I gotta, you know, internationally, globally, give y'all this pressure. You feel what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna keep getting into this pie. And y'all comment down low and let me know what y'all think about these recipes. And let me know how y'all feel about my version of the lemon pie. And let me know what y'all think I should change. If y'all think I should add something, any type of pressure you want to lay on me, pop it off. You heard me? I want to hear what I want to hear about it. So, comment, like, subscribe, share with a friend. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you follow me at Jazzy Sweets and Treats. And it's your girl, and I'm signing out. Thank you.